Good morning and welcome. Welcome to the first hour of the Art Lewis Show for a brand new week this Monday, 25th of July. I had to think about it. Boy, this month has flown by. Unbelievable. But we say that every month, don't we? Lots to do this morning. Later on, after the 10 o'clock news, we'll chat with Denise and Lorie Ladziak. And they are going to be with the Midland Shelterhouse. They have a new medical facility to talk about. At 11 a.m., Michigan Festivals and Events Association President Mike Suckert will be with us to talk about festivals and events in Michigan and how they're doing post or mostly post-pandemic anyway. But for this first hour, we're going to talk about wages and particularly the prevailing wage in Michigan. There's been a lawsuit filed by the Associated Builders and Contractors, along with the Mackinac Center, against Governor Whitmer's unilateral reinstatement of the prevailing wage. You'll remember a number of years ago, and we'll go over that, that we voted on it, and the legislature eliminated the prevailing wage in Michigan. Well, we're going to find out what this is all about this morning, because with us is the president of the State ABC Association, formerly the president of the local chapter. And we say good morning to Jimmy Green. Jimmy, good morning to you.
Well, good morning, Art. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thanks for being with us. All right, I think before we get into the nitty-gritty here of what this lawsuit is all about, a little history,
Sure.
if you will, on prevailing wage. What is it? And how did we get rid of it?
Oh, boy. You say we only got an hour, huh? Well, actually, prevailing wage, which is a variation of what we, on a federal basis, called Davis-Bacon, was actually implemented in 1931, believe it or not. And it was a way to set wages to discriminate against contractors who were offering the same kind of build, the same kind of quality at lower rates. And I know that's a deep history, but it goes to show you how this has permeated our culture in building for so many decades. So in a nutshell, and I always explain this to people, that, you know, like on a personal or professional basis, the idea that construction costs should be left up to the market. It shouldn't be artificially wage does. It sets the basement for what a wage should be in any number of categories. And it creates a really unfair competitive bidding process. And to me, it's more of a taxpayer issue than it is a construction or a contractor issue. So that's what prevailing wage is. The government determines what the wage is. And
correct me if I'm wrong, but that only applies in the case of Davis-Bacon. It only applies to federal contracts. And in the case of the state prevailing wage, it only applies to state contracts, not private individual contracts. Is that right?
That would be correct. And, you know, it's one of the discernments we try to make, or try to educate our populace with, which is any dollar that comes in from the federal government immediately is with Davis-Bacon wages. Now, ironically, sometimes the Davis-Bacon wage is less or more than state prevailing wage. It's so complicated, but again, it still boils down to one thing: for a market.
All right. So refresh our memory too. And I think I had it right when I say we voted on it. Give us a history of how we eliminated prevailing wage in Michigan.
Well, after two really contentious votes on right to work and then project labor agreements, Rick Snyder, governor at the time, decided he was not up for a fight for prevailing wage. It was one of our principles, one of our key foundation political issues. And so we decided at that point to take it to the citizens, to educate citizens about what prevailing wage was. We went through an extensive signature campaign, much like we see almost in every election campaign. We're seeing that right now with the abortion issue. So we had signatures signed by all across the state. We provided those, audited, and approved. We took those signatures and that approval to the state legislators, both the Senate and the House. They passed that, and in which case it vacated the governor's necessity in signing that bill. So this is what we call the people's vote. Each of those elected officials represent districts and, of course, people in that district. So we got it passed at the House and the Senate. And so, in fact, the state prevailing wage was repealed. A long process.
Yeah. So, but the bottom line is, we the people never had to vote on it because the legislature preempted that vote with their passing of the proposal.
That's correct. Right. Your elected official had a
Right.
chance to weigh in and vote on it. Right.
Right. All right. So here we are in 2022. Sometime back in, if I remember right, 2021, the governor unilaterally said, we're going to reinstate the prevailing wage. How does she get to do that?
Yeah. We don't know. I don't know. That's part of this issue, quite frankly. Let me say this too. I don't know. And we went through this with COVID and the lockdowns. Everybody remembers that, where the governor arbitrarily decided she had the authority to enact shutdowns. Well, that was contested. And then obviously her limits of her authority were challenged by the state Supreme Court, and she lost a lot of those empowerments. Now here, we're right back to this scenario. So the governor decided, despite state law, which is the repeal of prevailing wage, she decided to arbitrarily bring it back. Our whole piece is, how can you do that? And so we before we even issued the lawsuit, let me make this clear, we went through a series, dates, weeks, months of action, asking for an audience, submitting FOIA's, Freedom of Information Act requests, and we received nothing. So the lawsuit wasn't just impulsive. It was after months of trying to get an answer. Can she do this? I found it frustrating, quite honestly, that the Attorney General never weighed in. It's state law. We felt like if there was an opinion from the Attorney General who says, yes, she has the authority, now that may not have stopped us. We might have challenged it in the court, but at least there was some opinion. As we sit here today, there has been no opinion, zero, whether or not she has the authority to usurp state law and reinstate prevailing wage.
All right, Jimmy, hang on. I got to take a break, and we'll be back. We're talking to Jimmy Green, president of Michigan's Associated Builders and Contractors on WSGW. And let me take a moment to talk to you about my friends at Thailand Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Bay City. You know, most dealers have very limited supplies of new vehicles, although they are arriving all the time. If you're thinking of buying a new Chrysler Dodge Jeep or Ram truck, I think what you ought to do is go online to thinkthailand.com, where you can complete 80% of the purchase online, including building your own vehicle. If Thailand has new vehicles arriving all the time, and if there's one that fits your needs, make sure your name gets on it. Now, if you're looking to move up to a newer pre-owned car or truck, the Thailand Auto Group on North Euclid Avenue in Bay City has pre-owned and inspected vehicles from all of the Thailand dealerships in one place. They're all lined up right there on North Euclid Avenue, and it's one of the largest inventories in the Great Lakes Bay region. Sit down with a Thailand representative, strike your best deal, drive it away today. Thailand, that's the family that's been serving your automotive needs for 45 years. Stop in today or visit them online at thinkthailand.com.
The IRS doesn't mess around. If they want your money, they'll take it. They can take your paycheck and bank accounts too, even threaten your home or business. Don't take on the IRS alone. If you owe back taxes, the smartest thing you can do is call Optima Tax Relief. The experts at Optima specialize in a powerful IRS tax assistance program initiative, and their clients that qualify are saving thousands. One call starts the process to stop the demand letters, stop aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS from targeting you. But don't delay. It's important to act now while you still have options. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Optima has already resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get your life back. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima now for your free consultation.
Call 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Investor optimism appears to have improved to start the week. The Federal Reserve is expected to raise interest rates by 0.75 of a percentage point on Wednesday, and major tech companies report earnings this week. Two companies that make antiviral treatments used to treat monkeypox are rising. Wsgw Technologies and Inovio Pharmaceuticals are both higher after the World Health Organization declared monkeypox a public health emergency of international concern. Philips, the company that makes Norelco shavers and Sonicare toothbrushes, is losing ground. It has lowered its sales forecast for the year. And the Wall Street Journal Materials is planning a $3.5 billion battery materials plant in Nevada outside Reno. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Coselda, invested in you.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been supporting America's heroes and their families since 9/11. U.S. Army Specialist Jason Wheeler is one such hero. He re-enlisted after 9/11, but training accident injuries left him unable to walk. Specialist Wheeler and his family received a mortgage-free smart home that's custom designed for his needs. Help heroes like Jason and their families. Join Tunnel to Towers' mission to do good. Donate $11 a month at t2t.org.
When state bureaucrats threaten doctors over their COVID treatments, Representative Annette Glenn backed the bureaucrats down. Dr. John Fenninger said Annette Glenn's actions, quote, may have saved many lives. Paid for by Annette Glenn for State Senate.
Struggling with CPAP? Now there's Inspire, the only FDA-approved obstructive sleep apnea treatment that works inside the body to treat the root cause of sleep apnea with just the click of a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Visit inspiresleep.com to learn more.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere. It is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
On the next Markley Van Camp and Robbins show,
what's the craziest thing someone said over the weekend?
If you get vaccinated, you won't get COVID. Oh, that was the weekend last year.
Markley Van Camp and Robbins, weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW.
All right, we're back with you. We're talking to Jimmy Green, who is the president of the Michigan Associated Builders and Contractors Association, involved along with the Mackinac Center in a lawsuit against the governor for attempting to reinstate prevailing wage. Jimmy, I'm not a lawyer, but as I look at this and I read about it, it seems to me that she left herself a natural out. And here's what I mean by that. As I understand it, she never issued an executive order. She simply issued a press release. And in that release, she suggested that the Department of Technology Management and Budget had the authority to require prevailing wage at contracts over $50,000. Am I missing something?
No, but you're suggesting is that she gave DTMB the authority to break state law. Again,
yeah. Well, she suggested it in the press release, but that's my question. Sure. Is because can she walk away saying, "Well, I never issued an executive order"?
She did not. She did not do that. But again, it goes back to department heads issuing or breaking state law under a suggestion, a directive. I don't think there's anything that's different about the two, whether it's her or the department, somebody, until there's an opinion that would suggest otherwise, and I mean a legal opinion,
right? Somebody
broke the state law by re-implementing prevailing wage. That part is factual. Now, who owns that? I don't know, because as I said at the beginning of the show, I have issued out a series of FOIAs to determine where that responsibility lies. And that's really all I want to get to. Now, let's face it. If, in fact, a court of law determines that she or DTMB had that latitude, that's a period. Now, it doesn't suggest that we'll go away. We may have other alternatives, because the repeal of state prevailing wage is still a very critical issue here. But as it sits right now, and I want to keep going back to that, my opinion is as more important as her opinion or DTMB's or whomever is pointing the finger, because I have the law on my side until somebody determines I do not.
So since October of 2021, when she issued this press release, to your knowledge, has the department implemented prevailing wage requirements on those contracts?
Well, the first thing they do is they start the survey, and they started the survey, we believe, in the first quarter, because in March, she actually implemented, or let's say let's put they, so we can get away from whether it's her or DTMB. This implemented prevailing wage in March of this year. Since then, there have been 2 or 3 contracts. I haven't been able to determine the third one yet, but there have been at least 2 contracts that have had prevailing wage assigned to those contracts. So somebody somewhere somehow has already determined that state prevailing wage is in place.
So does this prevent your members, and you represent what, about 80% of the builders and contractors in the state?
That is correct. Yeah.
Does this prevent your people from bidding on these contracts, or if they bid, does it force them to pay the prevailing wage?
Well, first, let me answer the first part of that. No, it doesn't stop us from bidding on prevailing wage. We could, most certainly. And by the way, ABC also has union contractors who work in the prevailing wage climate. So they may very well be bidding on projects like that as well, too. And that's why earlier on I suggested a taxpayer issue, which is why Mackinac Center joined this lawsuit, than it is a contractor issue. We can make a determination to bid on state prevailing wage jobs. It changes the culture, the internal culture of a company, because the responsibilities, the cost of implementing prevailing wage is crazy. It's onerous as heck, not to mention the about 1,100 different class codes that you have to mirror for state prevailing wage. It is crazy. That's why those people who do prevailing wage work continue to do it. They already have an infrastructure in place that embeds those higher costs of construction costs. I think if taxpayers, I use the analogy of a library. I think if every taxpayer had the ability to determine what it really costs to build a library without sacrificing safety, quality, timeliness, or anything of the sorts that you'd want as a standard for construction, they would be amazed at what the cost would be. Now, I suggest I don't know what the cost is. And people look at me, they go, well, don't you work with commercial contractors? I'm like, yeah, but those are prevailing wage jobs. Now, if you have a union contractor and a non-union contractor bid on a library, then you as a taxpayer will get a real sense of what it costs to build a library. And nobody's under any obligation to award that contract just to the most qualified.
All right, so there is the next question. I know the answer, but I'm going to let you answer it anyway. If I'm going to build an XYZ government building, your library, we'll use your library, and I have 2 bids. I have a bid from a prevailing wage contractor, and I have a bid from an ABC contractor, and the ABC contractor maybe is, I'll pick a number, 20% less in their bid than the prevailing wage contractor. So I, as the buyer of service, say, okay, I'm going to take the lesser bid, 20%. Is my finished library going to be exactly the same as if one of the prevailing wage contractors built it? In other words, am I getting the exact same service from ABC?
Or better.
Or better. I'll give you that. Okay.
Or better. Yes, absolutely. And quite frankly, that is not to be disparaging. There are some exceptional union contractors who build great libraries.
Yeah.
So this is not a union versus non-union quality issue, because I'd hire so many of them in a nutshell to build my facility. This is really about the cost of construction, period. I'm not sacrificing safety, quality, timeliness, or anything that I'd want as a private citizen in order to award a bid. Now, if there means the lowest quality or the lowest bid does not meet your specifications, I would say give it to the other bid. But at least you understand what you're buying, and it's not artificially set as a cost structure. That's the whole argument about prevailing wage.
Let me ask you this, Jimmy. In this day and age, where buyers are having a difficult time buying help. In other words, employing people.
Yeah.
Have the ABC contractors had to boost their wages to stay competitive with the unions, for example, in order to find qualified help to work?
Well, I think any contractor that's been in business for any period of time is certainly better meet market wages and market conditions. And there's no question that practically every contractor I've met has raised their wages in order to attract more people. Yeah, there's no question about it. Inflationary costs, gas costs, there's so many variables out there. You have to change your cost structure. You want good people.
And I guess the basis of my question is, are we approaching parity between the two?
I mentioned about 1,100 different classifications. There are many scenarios where non-union contractors are paying a better wage than union contractors, and the same union contractors are paying more. There's so many pieces that go into that. It would be unfair to classify that or broad stroke that. But nobody in the construction industry is standing in a line picking up a bridge card, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm assuming that. And in this day and age, I mean, with the cost of goods, not only the cost of service, but the cost of goods, construction has become an expensive proposition, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, these are the best free agents out there. Make no mistake about it. You don't pay your people what they determine. And that's the key here, Art. You, Art Lewis, Jimmy Green, we determine the value of our services. If in fact or HVAC guy determines that his employer isn't paying him his value, he's feel free to go to the union. You know, that's one thing about ABC I absolutely love. It goes against the narrative. We are not anti-union by any stretch. We're free market people.
I'll tell you what, let me take a break, come back. I want to ask some more questions about ABC and give you a chance to describe some of these things. We're talking to Jimmy Green. He is the state president of ABC, Associated Builders and Contractors of Michigan, and we will be back with him right after these notes.
Tudor Dixon, working in the steel industry, she saw the results of Governor Whitmer's policies. Business lost, families moving away. Biden's policies aren't helping either. Gas prices and inflation skyrocketing. Tudor Dixon will stand strong against policies that hurt Michigan and government overreach. A businesswoman, a mother, a breast cancer survivor, fighting for Michigan, not working for Washington. Tudor Dixon for governor.
Not authorized by any candidate. AmericansForProsperity.org.
Are you ready for retirement? Well, Jason and Carl Kreiderman with Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a new book that can help make retiring easier. In Empower Your Retirement, they talk about how a well-thought-out financial plan can make the difference between just surviving and thriving in retirement. Using everyday language, this process can help you cover all the bases of your financial life, including how taxes can affect your retirement and much more. Your finances are too important to leave to chance. Empower Your Retirement is written to help you understand the must-dos to prepare for the retirement you desire. Get your free copy of Empower Your Retirement by calling 989-848-1188. 848-1188. And for more on retirement planning, tune into Jason and Carl's radio show, Your Financial Empower Hour, every Sunday morning at 8. Firm provides insurance services, investment advisory services offered by Great Lakes Investment Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor firm in the state of Michigan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
The economy is heading for a total must choose between a stock market and housing market crash or hyperinflation. Hi. This is Stephen K. Bannon, and I urge you to diversify your retirement savings into physical gold today. To help you get started, my friends at Birch Gold have created a free information kit on gold IRAs. To get your free copy, just text Safeguard to 989898. Purchase required. Again, that's Safeguard to 989898.
Farming is more than a livelihood. It's a legacy. Simplot was founded by a hardworking farmer like you over 90 years ago, and we've been growing America's farms for generations. With local crop advisors grounded in your success, Simplot grows fields and by your side. We dig in deep to pinpoint what you need, where you need it, when you need it, even when the forecast is unpredictable. Find your local crop advisor at simplotgrowersolutions.com.
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right, and when they're wrong, on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with your search results? Call Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681. Reputation Defender is one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too using cutting-edge. Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. That's 800-401-6681.
Line drive into right. It's going to drop for a base hit. Rounding third and heading home is Baez. Miguel Cabrera with a line drive single. 13th on the all-time RBI list.
The Tigers play 6:50 tonight on 790 News Radio WSGW. You are with WSGW in the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios.
And we're back with you here on the Art Lewis Show. We're talking to Jimmy Green, president of ABC, the Associated Builders and Contractors of Michigan. So, Jimmy, let's talk for a minute about the association. First of all, how did it come about?
Sure.
Why ABC?
Wow, it's interesting because we go right. Davis Bacon. ABC was formed over 60 years ago to provide, and was formed in Baltimore, Maryland, and in that area, quite frankly, that Baltimore, D.C. area. And it was all about being competitive and having an opportunity to practice free enterprise in the construction industry. At that time, unions dominated the building industry, and there were a number of non-union contractors who wanted the opportunity to work. And it's what we consider to be almost literally the DNA of ABC members. It's fair and open competition. And it started some 60 years ago. And I know that sounds like such a simple phrase, but fair and open competition is the cornerstone behind the association. It's what we've practiced for years, and certainly a foundation I believe in.
Is the presence of ABC heavier in states like Michigan, which are union states or often thought of as union states, than they are elsewhere?
No, what's interesting about it is the highest competition are in southern states where there aren't unions. I know that sounds weird, but they believe, quite frankly, in fair and open competition. And even if that means competing with each other to keep the cost of construction bearing market prices and not artificial prices. Imagine if, in fact, they weren't doing that in the South, you'd have almost the same thing. The necessity of ABC in predominantly union markets is absolute. There's no question about it. But then again, remember, we're 80% of the Michigan market, and you're only talking about Detroit, certain segments like democratically controlled cities, Lansing, Saginaw, Bay City. But when you look at this state and you look at, well, we don't have union presence in those places. And there you see competitive pricing and real competitive pricing between union and non-union companies. And that's important to know, too. You asked me a question about, can we do prevailing wage work? Well, let's flip that to non-union. Can union companies do non-union work? Sure, they can. I see it every day.
So let's go back to the South for a minute here, because if the union presence is not strong, but federal contracts, for example, in whatever state you want to pick, Mississippi, I don't care, pick a state. Federal contracts still require prevailing wage. Does that mean that ABC members have to then pay the prevailing wage?
And there you go. That's the beauty of this conversation, Art, because the education piece of it. What is prevailing wage? Well, prevailing wage, quite frankly, is supposed to be a survey of what the market will bear between competing interests. So what's the real value, or what's the real market rate for an electrician in the South? Well, you know what you do? You go around, you ask 10 electrical contractors, what do you pay? The average of that survey creates the prevailing wage. Now in Michigan, here's how they do prevailing wage. They go to 8 union contractors and 2 non-union contractors to determine what the prevailing wage is. Well, you don't have to be a mathematician to figure out the prevailing wage will be the survey of the 8 and not the 2. So that's what we talk about when we talk about artificially inflated wages. It's not a fair survey. So that wage that doesn't come in a competitive environment artificially inflates it, no matter how you slice it. And everybody knows it in our industry. We all know it. But there are so many people who don't get it, and so they'll talk about fair wages and things of that nature. Well, you know, when it's ribbed up and jibed up to literally reflect what union contractors are paying and not necessarily what the market is paying, that's unfair practice.
And in terms of if we look at Michigan, if you're successful and prevailing wage disappears again because the legislature has indicated that's what they want, it does not change Davis-Bacon, does it? That law still exists, doesn't it?
No, it does not. That's not had much luck. I hope that when Trump came into office, because he had a majority Senate and House of Republicans who tend to favor free and open markets, but nothing was moved there, and so it still persists. And that was probably the best chance that we had to at least reduce, eliminate, or modify Davis-Bacon. But as it sits today, it's what it's always been, which is really kind of personal to me, because my grandfather didn't work in Davis-Bacon wages because it was designed to eliminate the black contractor who was underbidding and doing great work at the expense of white contractors. So that thing was built in the area, and it persists to this day, even though it may not necessarily be black and white, but the intent is still the same.
All right, Jimmy, hang on one more segment, and we'll be back. We're talking to Jimmy Green, president of ABC in Michigan, and more ahead.
I'm retired Army Colonel Martin Blank, and I'm a Republican running for the state Senate. I'm not a politician, I'm a soldier. And I'm running for the state Senate because Lansing career politicians are failing our families. Average families can't afford groceries towards $6 a gallon, and many of our neighbors are struggling to pay their mortgages or rent. The economy no longer works for people like us, and Lansing career politicians are doing nothing about it. It's time for a change, to go in a new direction. We've had enough of Lansing career politicians and their broken promises. It's time to put state government back on your side. I'm proud of my military service, the 23 years I spent serving you and protecting your interests. And as your state senator, I'll protect your interests once again. This is Martin Blank, Republican candidate for state Senate. I ask for your vote on August 2nd. Thanks for listening.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband. He lost weight. More important, cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend went, and she lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months. So does Mark Patrick hypnosis work? Oh yeah, it works. Nothing has changed my life more. Well, except maybe my husband. He's so proud of me. Makes me cry.
Join the Mark Patrick $49.99 Sunday, August 7th at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Saginaw, 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. To register, go to markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
At the United States Postal Service, we deliver with advanced technology and equipment so we can reach over 160 million addresses across the country. We're delivering for thinkers, doers, movers, shakers, groundbreakers, future makers, innovators, trailblazers, disruptors, streamers, dreamers. So no matter what business you're in, we'll always be delivering for you. USPS, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.
The IRS doesn't mess around. If they want your money, they'll take it. They can take your paycheck and bank accounts too, even threaten your home or business. Don't take on the IRS alone. If you owe back taxes, the smartest thing you can do is call Optima Tax Relief. The experts at Optima specialize in a powerful IRS tax assistance program called the Fresh Start Initiative. And their clients that qualify are saving thousands. One call starts the process to stop the demand letters, stop aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS from targeting you. But don't delay. It's important to act now while you still have options. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Optima has already resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get your life need for tax help you can trust. Call Optima now for your free consultation.
Call 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188. 800-364-9188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Uma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending Uma and their all-in-one phone, video, and collaboration solution.
Uma?
Yep. Switching to Uma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Uma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Uma.com. .com to learn more. Uma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
Attention golfers, the WSGW Invitational is coming soon, presented by Westside Decorating Center and powered by Branham's Jewelry. To win your foursome entry into the WSGW Invitational, you must participate in a closest to the pin contest presented by Sarah Automotive of Saginaw. The next contest 6th at Crooked Creek Golf Course. Stop by between 6:30 and 9 a.m. Take 3 swings at the pin. At the end of the morning team show, the golfer closest to the pin wins the foursome. Plus, you'll have the chance to win the $10,000 hole-in-one contest presented by Buck Insurance.
And we are back talking to Jimmy Green, president of the Michigan ABC, Association of Builders and Contractors. Jimmy, if I were to talk to a union representative, they would tell me, this is what I'm assuming because I've heard it before. They work in a safer environment, their employees are better trained, and they pay a livable wage. What do you say?
They do work in a safe environment. They do great work. And they do pay great wages. What would I argue about that? No, I wouldn't. That's one of the reasons why the unions have a tough time arguing with me, because I agree with most of what I don't agree with is when they say more. We're safer than, or we pay more than. When they keep it in the fact that they do great work, yes. They pay great wages, yes. They do quality work, yes. They train safe, yes. They train well, yes. When it's kept in that vein, we have the idea that they do more or they're better than, that's the argument. And that's just unfair. And for Michiganders who are listening to this, who believe that to be true, all they need to do is go to Orlando, Dallas, Salt Lake City, and any other place in the 50 states where non-union contractors have literally built this country. And I can assure them that nothing's in their heads. So the argument that people make safety a political thing, I think is disgusting, and ABC will never get involved in that argument.
So let's talk about training for a minute, because the unions have training centers and what have you. Does ABC have an apprentice type program? Do you have training?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The Department of Labor establishes what is an apprenticeship program and who has to train under it. Everything else, for the most part, unions, just like us in the state of Michigan, those are craft training for the most part. In this state, electrical and plumbing and mechanical are the only 3 trades to have apprenticeship programs. ABC and union contractors have to adhere to that training standard. Other than that, it's all craft training. And I don't know anybody who doesn't do craft training across the state.
All right, so let's go back to where we started. That is the lawsuit filed to find out about who's doing what in terms of prevailing wage and who's following the law and who's not. When do you expect this to come to a head?
Well, I hope it comes to the head sooner than the response to my FOIA request have been. That's the reason why we're doing this. I would imagine that days there has to be some response. Now, what that response is, who knows? Imagine that, especially in an election year, I think there'll probably be as many delays as humanly possible. And then at that point, but we're not going to go away. And it's what I suggested. I'm looking for an answer. If they tell me I'm wrong, I can accept that, move forward. I just need an answer in the head, hanging overhead. I think from a taxpayer standpoint, they deserve the answers more than we do, because you know what? We're still building every day, doing our best, still bidding. But the circumstances under which we bid in a fair and open competitive environment in Michigan is all we're asking for. And prevailing wage is part of that question and answer.
I'm assuming, I know it's a bad word, but I'm assuming that since you are filing against the state, you have to file this in the Court of Claims.
That's correct. Yep. And that's where we're relying on attorneys to do that. We don't even play attorneys on TV. We're builders and contractors, and we leave the legal stuff to, especially when you're talking about suing the state.
And do you have, any idea when the first hearing might be on this?
Well, I don't know. I think the Supreme Court, and it probably will wind up going to appeals and then the Supreme Court, because we're certainly not going to lay, if the appeals court comes in, or a circuit court, or any of the courts that go up the ladder to the Supreme Court, determine that she's right or we're right, I imagine it's probably going to go right up to the Supreme Court, much like Unlock Michigan did. So I don't have any idea how long that is with the abortion issues out there and all the other issues that are taking up the court's time. I don't know how they prioritize this, and we're not going to go anywhere. We'll just wait for an answer.
And has the governor had any response at all?
I wish. I'd love to meet her at Kelly's. I'm in Lansing right now. I'd love to meet her at Kelly's and say, hey, let's just you and me talk this thing out. And then I'd get back on the Art Lewis show and tell him what she said. But right now, no, I don't have any response from her.
Well, Jimmy, my friend,
thank you.
Know her. Yeah, thank you for spending the time with us this morning to explain the issue. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Art. I appreciate the opportunity. Take care.
Anytime, my friend. We'll talk to you. Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye now.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Jimmy Green, he's the president of the Associated Builders and Contractors of Michigan. We thank him for joining us this morning. We'll kind of keep tabs of this issue, and because it affects everyone. It's an issue whether you are a union member, whether you are a non-union contractor, whether you're a taxpayer. It has I can say no, I can't. Implications for all of us. Thank you. There we go. Anyway, we'll take our last break and be back to close out this hour of the Art Lewis Show on WSGW.
In this election, look to the name you can trust for state representative, Bill G. Schuette. Working as a Defense Intelligence Agency officer, Bill G. Schuette joined the fight against his. Now Bill G. Schuette is prepared to move mid-Michigan forward. He will fight Biden inflation and put money back in your wallet by cutting the income tax. Schuette backs the blue and will support our law enforcement. Schuette will fight to ensure parents have a seat at the table in their children's education. Voting should be honest and easy, which is why Bill G. Schuette supports common sense photo ID requirements for elections. On August 2nd, vote for the conservative Republican you can trust, Bill G. Schuette.
I'm Bill G. Schuette, and this ad was paid for by Bill G. Schuette for state representatives. Generals, I can stand up to Democrats in Lansing.
Introducing a special first-time ever. Change your life in an instant ticket. $300 million diamond riches from the Michigan Lottery. A $50 instant game. 50 years in the making. With over $300 million in total prizes. The richest ever. Top prizes of $6 million. The highest ever. And 50 chances to win on every ticket. The most ever. We're celebrating 50 years in an epic way. Play Diamond Riches from the Michigan Lottery. For fun. For schools. For 50 years. Knowing your limits is always the best bet.
Hey, Jim! Thanks for coming.
Are you kidding? I never miss one of your dinner parties. How's the new job?
And I stopped working weekends, thanks to how smooth everything runs on NetSuite by Oracle.
Fantastic. We're still using QuickBooks.
Why haven't you upgraded to NetSuite?
making QuickBooks work, sort of.
Shh, watch your language. The kids are right there. Sorry, Amy. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more. NetSuite is everything you need to grow, all in one place. And 93% of surveyed businesses increase their visibility and control since upgrading from QuickBooks to NetSuite.
Yeah, sounds like it's time for me to switch to NetSuite. Over 31,000 businesses already use NetSuite. And for a limited time, NetSuite has extended their one-of-a-kind financing program offer to those ready to upgrade at netsuite.com. netsuite.com/radar for this extended special financing offer on the #1 financial system for growing businesses. netsuite.com/radar.
If you've ever ordered food for work, you understand. It's different. There's just so much more at stake. Whether it's a meeting, a client call, or lunch with the office that has to arrive at the actual lunchtime, food for work has to work. That's why there's Cater. Food that's on time and as ordered from over 82,000 restaurants. And if there's a problem, rare, you can reach someone in seconds.
Thank you for calling Cater.
Some food just doesn't work at work, but Cater just does. Order 24/7 at easycater.com.
Hi, this is Mike Avery. You magazine show Sunday mornings 9 till noon on WSGW, but now there's another option. Saturday morning, 6 till 9. Tune in for the latest outdoor news and information, hunting and fishing tips, wildlife and conservation issues, even some wild game cooking. That's Outdoor Magazine now on Saturday mornings too, 6 till 9, right here on WSGW 790 AM and 100.5 FM.
All right, that will do it for this hour of the Art Lewis Show. Coming up next hour, we're going to talk to a couple of folks from the Midland Shelterhouse in the beginning of the hour, and then we'll have open phones. All of that coming up here on WSGW. We'll talk to you right after the news, which is next.
Expand your outdoor living space with 11%
from the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. All eyes are on Indianapolis today in the fight over legalized abortion. Session to discuss legislation that would lead to a near total ban. Republican State Senator Sue Glick is sponsoring the bill.
Being pro-life is not about criminalizing women. It's about preserving the dignity of life and helping mothers bring happy, healthy babies into the world.
Kamala Harris' office says the vice president is on her way to the state now to meet with lawmakers. A voracious wildfire is churning near Northern California's Yosemite National Park. Correspondent Jonathan Viglia, the county.
Cooler temperatures this morning have really helped tamp down these flames, but those temperatures are expected to spike back up to 100 degrees later today. That weather helped the Oak Fire triple in size over the weekend. This morning, it is 0% contained.
More than 6,000 people have been forced from their homes. The LAPD is still looking for suspects after 2 people were shot to death, 5 wounded at a park in San Pedro. Police Captain Kelly Muniz.
There are about 5 in the park, many of which had cars, so it was not necessarily a permitted car show, but that was a draw of the park.
Overseas, Ukraine plans to get grain deliveries out despite Russia's latest attack on the port of Odessa. Correspondent Cammie McCormick. Ukraine's deputy infrastructure minister hopes grain shipments will start this week.
Мова йде про порт Чорноморськ. Він буде перший, потім буде Одеса.
Out of 2 ports, Odessa and Chornomorsk, Russia's invasion of Ukraine has severely disrupted wheat exports. The 2 sides signed agreement to relieve food shortages worldwide. It went up, but where will debris from a big Chinese rocket come down? Here's CBS's Vicki Barker. The latest giant Long March 5B rocket to leave a Chinese launch pad. Its ejected 23-ton booster will eventually hurtle back to Earth somewhere. Though most of our planet's covered in water, the fear is that someday one of those blazing giants will smash onto dry and inhabited land. A surprise appearance at the Newport Folk Festival. 78-year-old Joni Mitchell gave her first public performance since a brain aneurysm almost
15, she tells CBS.
I'm looking at videos that are on the net to see where I put my fingers, you know. It's amazing, like, what an aneurysm knocks out, how to get out of a chair. You know, I have to learn all these things by rote again.
This is CBS News.
Find great hires fast with Indeed. Their end-to-end hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in the same place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Expand your outdoor living space with 11% off landscape blocks from Menards. Get a free estimate instantly with our Design and Buy landscaping program. From patios and walkways to fire pits and retaining wall. Landscape of your dreams. Visit a Menards store near you or Menards.com to get started today. All concrete landscape and patio blocks are 11% off now through July 31st. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards. This is day one.
Imagine this, winning big at Soaring Eagle during our hottest summer ever. It's the $1 Million Summer on Saturdays through September 24th. 7 winners every half hour from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and then 7 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. win $500 in premium play. That's 7 winners every 30 minutes. The $1 Million Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
We expect our information in real time. US Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 800-730-8405 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check. As easy as, that's 800-730-8405.
The economy is heading for a total. Let's choose between a stock market and housing market crash or hyperinflation. Hi, this is Stephen K. Bannon. I urge you to diversify your retirement savings into physical gold today. To help you get started, my friends at Birch Gold have created a free information kit on gold IRAs. To get your free copy, just text Safeguard to 989898. There's no obligation or purchase required. Again, that's Safeguard to 989898.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is News.
It's 66 degrees at 10:05. Good morning, I'm Dave Maurer. Consumers Energy has restored power to more than 50,000 homes and businesses after winds at top 60 miles an hour swept across the part of Michigan Saturday and Sunday. Nearly 200 consumers and contractor crews worked around the clock to restore power to more than 71% of impacted customers yesterday. The storms caused damage and power outages in 48 lower peninsula counties. Crews will continue working throughout the day. As of 9 o'clock last night, less than 27,000 customers were still without power. Power is expected to be restored to 1,000 customers by 6 o'clock tonight. 2 Republican state Senate contenders for the 35th District are being sued by a former Dow employee for defamation. WSGW's Michael Percha reports.
Sharon Schramm is suing Christian Velasquez for discussing a 2016 gender and disability discrimination lawsuit against Dow Corning Corporation, alleging she was illegally forced out of a job at the company. The case was settled out of court and included a non-disclosure agreement. Velasquez worked for Dow at the time. State Representative Annette Glenn criticized Velasquez for his alleged role in the lawsuit in her campaign. The suit claims he responded with words like, he's being sued for discussing the case in a breach of the NDA. Glenn is also being sued for defamation, allegedly trying to get the Midland Daily News to do a story on the previous lawsuit, saying Schramm was dead when she is still alive. Schramm is seeking damages in excess of $75,000 for emotional distress and humiliation. Michael Percha, News Radio 100.5 and 790.
Kalamazoo police are working to find a suspect or suspects involved in a shooting over the weekend in which 9 people were hurt. Investigators say there was a large party before shots were fired. Detectives are still looking for witnesses to come on those responsible. The injuries are considered non-life-threatening. WSGW News Time 10:07.
totally changed my life.
It's amazing. I don't have any cravings. You want to quit, but have found it impossible? This is the thing for you. I have absolutely no craving. It's the darndest thing I have ever seen in my life.
It's not for entertainment. It's for results.
Do it. It works. Period.
You've tried everything else. You need to come and try this.
Hi, it's Steve Mann. Have you heard the commercials for the Mark Patrick Stop Smoking seminars? And they said only $49.99 and it could work for you. So worth the smoking. So I went. And guess what? It did work for me. You know, my friends and family are still amazed. I quit smoking. I didn't have cravings, anxiety, or weight gain. Listen, I don't know how it works, but I know it works because I'm living proof, and it's 100% guaranteed. So what do you got to lose? I'll tell you what you got to lose. A very bad habit.
Join the Mark Patrick Stop Smoking Seminar for only $49.99, Sunday, August 7th at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Saginaw, 2 p.m. till 4 p.m. To register, go to markpatrickseminars.com.
WSGW News Time 10:08. Rising inflation and high gas prices are threatening tourism revenue in Michigan. Pure Michigan's Dave Lauren says out-of-state travelers hold the key to increasing Michigan's tourism revenue.
More people to travel into the state from other places. That's where it hurts us in another way, because if people don't come here, have a great time, keep people employed, help to pay for those state sales taxes and such, then that means we don't fix those darn roads.
Lauren says that many Michigan destinations are affordable vacation options, but revenue will depend on how many travelers the state can attract. Legislation aimed at expanding and creating public and private ports in the state to ramp up the shipping industry in Michigan are now law. Governor Gretchen Whitmer signing the framework from Representative Jack O'Malley last week to support maritime the new office for water commerce.
These bills will do a lot, establishing an Office of Maritime, and it has created a fund. But this is even something that MDOT has said they've neglected over the years. And so I'm really excited.
O'Malley says the state should not be content with getting beaten by other states around us when it comes to shipping commerce on our Great Lakes when there are 32 ports in Michigan. 3 people were rushed to the hospital after a small plane crashed in Macomb County yesterday afternoon. MNN's Greg Bowman reports.
The Macomb County Sheriff's Department says the crash happened at the municipal airport near 27 Mile Road and Indian Trail in Raytown. Say the plane apparently attempted to take off and crash from approximately 75 feet off the ground. 3 people and a dog were on board at the time of the crash. They were rushed to a nearby hospital with severe injuries and burns. The dog still missing.
I'm Greg Bowman for the Michigan News Network.
The Monroe County Sheriff's Office is reporting that a 15-year-old boy from Detroit has died in a drowning. The incident occurred yesterday afternoon just before 5:30 at a Koa campground south of Petersburg. Sheriff's deputies received a call that the boy was missing for 20 minutes and was last seen at the campground swimming pond. The Sheriff's Office dive team arrived at the scene and within minutes submerged underwater. Paramedics with Monroe Community Ambulance transported the victim to ProMedica Toledo Hospital, where he was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. When you see news happening, call the WSGW newsroom at 752-0790. It's 1010. I'm Dave Maurer.
Here's your WSGW Weatherology forecast. We'll see mostly sunny skies here for today with a high into the upper 70s. Winds out of the northwest around 5 to 15 miles per hour, gusting as high as 20. Then for tonight, partly cloudy sky conditions, a low around 56. Tuesday, sunshine, high breeze. Wednesday, a chance for showers and thunderstorms, cloudy sky conditions, and a high around 84. Thursday, mostly sunny skies, high of 82. Then by Friday, plenty of blue skies and sunshine, a high around 80. Saturday, mostly sunny skies, a high of 84. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with the WSGW Weatherology forecast. Currently, it's 70.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW. WSGW.com.
And welcome back to hour number 2 of the Art Lewis Show from my Saginaw Spirit Home studio on this Monday morning. And for the first part of this hour, we're going to talk about Midland Shelterhouse and a new facility they have. We have a couple of guests with us in studio this morning, and we say good morning to them. And ladies, introduce yourselves, if you will.
Good morning, Art. My name is Denise Berry. I'm the Executive Director for Shelterhouse.
Good morning, Art. My name is Lorie Ladziak-Thivierge. I'm the SANE Services Coordinator for Shelterhouse.
Welcome, ladies. Glad to have you with us this morning. I think before we get into the new facility you have, maybe an overview of Midland Shelterhouse, what it is and what it does.
Sure. So the Shelterhouse, we've been here a little over 45 years, and our new location, we've been here just about 2 years on Waldo Ave. And so we are a comprehensive domestic violence and sexual assault service center. We have our shelter. We have all of our other services, our counseling, advocacy, transitional housing. And then we have our SANE exams. And that's what, we'll be focusing on talking about this morning is our SANE program, which is the sexual assault nurse examiner, or the forensic medical exams.
And Lorie, is this new to Shelterhouse? What's new about it?
The SANE program is not new to Shelterhouse, but it is new to actually having an exam room at Shelterhouse.
What does that provide you?
It provides us the ability to provide comprehensive exams that are trauma-informed and survivor-focused. It gives us the ability to provide all the services that our clients may need in one location.
So what happens now prior to this? If a woman comes into Shelterhouse, maybe the victim of some kind of sexual assault, where are the exams done? How is it done up to this point?
So right now, if someone is sexually assaulted, and so it could be a person of any gender or identity, they go to the hospital. We have a wonderful partnership that we've had for a little over 10 years with My Michigan Health Center and the Center for Women's Health. And so we have an exam room over there, and that's where the exam takes place right now.
So your new exam room, what does that do in terms of efficiency, in terms of getting to the bottom?
Right. So having the SANE medical suite within our building, within our whole facility at Shelterhouse, that allows us, one of our goals is to reduce barriers to care, right? To get survivors on their path to healing. And so by being able to have the SANE suite in-house, we've got our private waiting room, confidentiality, and privacy are always, those are our cornerstones, right? So we have our private waiting room, then come in, they can meet with an advocate in the office and do all the pre-work as far as the releases, the explanation of the exam, et cetera. And then the exam room is pretty much steps from that. And then with this exam room, this will be the first time that we'll have a lavatory with a shower and a locker room attached, which is an important aspect of once the exam is complete, how, again, that person starts to get on their road to recovery.
In terms of the exam, I mean, obviously with My Michigan, you have a hospital full of doctors and professionals. Who will administer the exam at your facility? Lorie?
Our SANE medical staff they're specially trained nurses, physician assistants, and nurse midwives who are specially trained to do the sexual assault exam. So it'll be the same team of people caring for them as it was in the past.
When we say sexual assault exam, what are we really talking about? Are we talking about, for example, rape kits?
The rape kit's part of it, but essentially what we do is a holistic exam. We look at them to make sure that they don't have any medical injuries that need to be treated. Certainly we do the evidence collection if that's something they wish to have done, which would essentially be the rape kit. But we also give them important medications to keep them healthy and make sure that they don't get diseases that they didn't want. And also, emotionally, we work with our advocates and things to kind of spiritually get them on the right track to healing.
So I was going to ask, it would seem to me it's more than physical. I mean, the mental side of this is an important issue, isn't it?
Absolutely.
For sure, yes. And I mean, that's why it's so important for us to provide a trauma-informed environment that, it's client-centered or survivor-centered. And with the hospital, again, we've really enjoyed our time working with the folks at the hospital. But one of the things you can run into over there is other people seeking care for different things. And so, again, with people being able to come over here, everything remains private. There's nobody here who shouldn't be here, as far as they're not going to run into anybody who doesn't work here or volunteer. And it really helps with that confidentiality piece and that comforting, that psychological comfort and that psychological safety.
There has been, along with mental illness, a certain stigma placed on sexual assault, which I believe, and I could be totally wrong, but I believe has probably kept a lot of mostly women from coming forward. Is that true?
Absolutely true. It's still the case a lot today. We see that people are very scared to come forward to report for various reasons. And there is that stigma that's attached to it, that there's a certain type of person that this happens to, and that's not true.
So what do you tell women who may be victims? What do you tell them to encourage them to come forward?
Basically that we're here to help them. Whatever services we have, we offer them to them and allow them the power to choose what's right for them. Maybe it's just getting the exam to know that they're okay, or it could include the evidence collection. There's so many various things that they can pick and choose that suits them best.
Any cost to the service?
Absolutely free.
So tell us, Denise, about Shelterhouse and your funding.
So our funding is a mix of state and federal grants. We work with MDHHS and the Division of Victim Services to provide the bulk of our programming. We also have corporate and individual contributions, and we work with other corporate grants, and we also have our resale store and our outlet, which actually helps all 100% of those proceeds go back to survivors at Shelterhouse.
All right, both of you hang on. I want to do one more segment with you, and we will be back with our guest from Midland Shelterhouse right after these notes on the Art Lewis Show. And let me take a moment to talk to you about my friends at Great Lakes Investment Advisors. You know, a 401k can be an important asset for many American retirements. You've made contributions to your 401k every single paycheck for years and even decades. Its tax advantages and portability may enable workers to build sizable and important nest eggs. But its flexibility could also be costly if you aren't aware of potential mistakes. Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a guide that will teach you how to avoid an early distribution penalty and full taxation on rollovers, the little-known weapon you can use, your most mistake-proof option, and more. Request your guide today by calling 989-835-7203 or visit GreatLakesInvestmentAdvisors.com. This commercial shall in no way be construed as solicitation to sell securities or advisory services of any state other than Michigan or where otherwise permitted. Topics should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Advisory services offered through Great Lakes Investment Advisors, a registered investment advisor in the state of Michigan.
The IRS doesn't mess around. If they want your money, they'll take it. They can take your paycheck and bank accounts too, even threaten your home or business. Don't take on the IRS alone. If you owe back taxes, the smartest thing you can do is call Optima Tax Relief. The experts at Optima specialize in a powerful IRS tax assistance program initiative, and their clients that qualify are saving thousands. One call starts the process to stop the demand letters, stop aggressive collection actions, and stop the IRS from targeting you. But don't delay. It's important to act now while you still have options. Optima is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Optima has already resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Get your life back. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima now for your free consultation.
Call 800-364-9188. 9188, 800-364-9188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I'm Connell McShane. This is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks open narrowly higher. Boeing shares are losing ground after workers at 3 plants in the St. Louis area voted to reject a contract offer and begin a strike August 1st. Philips, the maker of Sonicare toothbrushes and Norelco shavers, is lowering its sales forecast, blaming supply chain disruptions, inflation, and COVID lockdowns in China, which significantly affected its business. Shares of companies that make treatments and vaccines that can be used on monkeypox are rising after the World Health Organization declared the outbreak a global health emergency. Among companies rallying, SIGA Technologies, Inovio Pharmaceuticals, and Emergent Biosolutions. And digital publishing company Squarespace is lowering its full-year guidance. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola, invested in you.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your... Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, beat the large report and has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-328-9696. That's 800-328-9696.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Is your prostate secretly being destroyed without you knowing it? All the ads for these prostate pills. Saw Palmetto, ProstaStream, Prostagenics, and others. Want to know which pills work and which are garbage? Now you can. Get a free copy of the new guide, Prostate Secrets, that pulls back the curtain on the prostate pill industry. Learn what is really in these pills. Which pill has over 987 adverse event reports filed against it with the FDA? It's shocking. Learn the one food to avoid that is a prostate killer, and discover the 3 so-called health foods that destroy your prostate. Get your free copy at prostatesecrets.com. That's prostatesecrets.com. This free guide will show you how to end your prostate problems without drugs or surgery, 5 important things to do to protect your prostate, and much more. Warning, this guide is controversial and may be offensive to some readers as it pulls no punches. So go to prostatesecrets.com, prostatesecrets.com. That's prostatesecrets.com.
News coverage.
Another dangerous heat wave. Floods, droughts, extreme storms. Climate change.
The latest climate report, code red.
The inflation fire continues.
Gas prices slowly coming down.
The citizen lawfully carrying a firearm and was able to stop the shooter.
News coverage.
Abortion rights should have never been left up to the courts.
Great harm that this will have.
President Joe Biden has tested positive for COVID.
Pivotal primary elections in Michigan. News coverage on WSGW.
On the next Markley Van Camp and Robbins show, what's the craziest thing someone said over the weekend? If you get vaccinated, you won't get COVID. Oh, that was the weekend last year.
Markley, Van Camp, and Robbins. Weekdays at noon on 100.5 and 790. News Radio WSGW.
All right, we're back with you, talking to guests from the Midland Shelterhouse about their new exam facility at the Shelterhouse. So let's look at a couple of things here. A victim comes in, goes through the process, evidence might be collected. At what point do you or does the victim decide to get law enforcement involved?
At any point. I mean, sometimes they come from the victim will come to us from law enforcement where they've already went and reported. There's a whole variety of things that at any point in the process that law enforcement can enter, or there may be the option that the victim doesn't want them involved and just wants to get this in case in the future, she or he decides they want to pursue it further. So there may not be involvement at all.
All right. So what happens after that exam and you discover that maybe there was some type of sexual abuse or assault? What programs follow? What do you do with that individual after the initial exam?
After the initial exam, we don't necessarily know. When they come to us, we don't make judgments on what happened or what didn't happen to them. So we wouldn't necessarily make the judgment call that there was an assault or not an assault. We take them at their word. But afterwards, we have a variety of counseling services that are available to them. We have services to get them if they need help with employment or transportation or housing. We try to address all the aspects in their life that they need assistance with.
And is that an indeterminate amount of time, as long as it takes?
As long as it takes.
So, Denise, let's talk a little bit about volunteers. Does Midland Shelterhouse use volunteers, and what kind of training do they go through?
So it depends on what they want to do or what their volunteer service looks like. We use a lot of volunteers, individuals and groups at the resale shop and the outlet, and they are always welcome. We have volunteers who sometimes work in our shelters, and that could be anything from preparing meals for groups, for group work, or helping us clean up after, doing some child supportive services while the parents might be in a group. So there's a few different ways to get involved, but really, if someone is interested, what I would say is give us a call and let us know what you're interested in, what you might have a background or some experience in, and we can see if we can accommodate.
How many shelters do you operate?
We have just the one shelter, and so we have 15 individual units, and so we have a capacity of up to 48 beds, depending on how it's configured and the size of the families that come in. And so we also serve Gladwin County, so if someone from Gladwin County needs shelter, they'll come to Midland because we just have this one location for shelter.
And what kind of confidentiality is there?
So in technical terms, our confidentiality, it's one of the strictest that you can find. We actually fall under what's called VOCA-VAWA, the Victims of Crime Act and the Violence Against Women Act. And so that confidentiality is more strict or stricter than what some would know, like with HIPAA. So we fall into the categories where our confidentiality is by law the strictest that it comes. So even if law enforcement comes to our door and asks for somebody by name, unless we get a release from that person, we can't even tell them if they're in the shelter or not.
Not even law enforcement?
Not even law enforcement.
That is strict then.
Yes.
That is strict. So what do you tell that potential client, maybe a victim of sexual assault, who's hesitant to come in because of what we talked about earlier, stigma, what have you? What do you say to that person to convince them that they need to come in and have it taken care of?
The way I usually approach that is just ask them to come in, sit down, talk with me. Let's talk about the services that we have available. Let's talk what happened to you. And
are you the intake officer?
No. It kind of depends on where the client's coming from, on who does the intake, but most of our calls come into the helpline, and then the helpline will get them in contact with our sexual assault advocate, who will actually speak to the survivor and then try to coordinate things.
So is each survivor assigned a particular advocate?
Yes, everybody has an advocate.
That person is with them beginning to end?
Beginning to end, yep.
All right, so let's talk about where the public can get more information about this. Website?
So it's shelterhousemidland.org is our website, and we have a little bit of information about SANE services, but if there's an inquiry about what a SANE exam might entail, that would be better. We don't cover what a full SANE exam does on a website, but a Google search would be able to explain what that is.
So what's the best way for a survivor to contact Midland Shelterhouse?
Sure. So the best way would be to call our crisis line, which is 877-216-6383. And then they'll immediately get in touch with a trauma-informed, compassionate person. You're not going to get a voicemail or anything. And then that person will reach out to our sexual assault response advocate, and then they can go from there.
From the time somebody calls and wants service, how long before they actually get in to see you?
When somebody calls to get an exam, it can usually be less than 24 hours.
So response is fairly fast.
It's very fast. Well, because there's a clock, right? So if somebody wants to do evidence collection for possible law enforcement use, it's got to be collected within 120 hours.
So you do have conditions, if you will, for these kinds of things. Well, again, ladies, listen, thank you very much for spending some time with us talking about Midland Shelterhouse. Is the facility now open and up and running?
We expect the facility to be open by mid-September. So we are also feeling the logistical crunch of getting some materials in.
But you can still do exams through My Michigan.
We are still doing exams at the hospital, yes.
Very good. Well, thank you both for being with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Great. Thanks, Art.
Thank you.
You bet. We'll talk to you down the road. Thanks
Take
a
care.
lot.
Bye.
Bye-bye now. Midland Shelterhouse, and we thank them for joining us here on WSGW. Open phones for the remainder of the hour, 989-752-6111, the number to call, and would love to chat with you. And I got an email from Martin, who's a truck driver up north. He had sent me a screenshot of something that a couple of the TV stations were doing that showed results, and that word's important. It doesn't say poll results. It says results of the GOP primary coming up on August 2nd. And he's asking, how do you do that? Well, obviously you can't do that. And I suspect what's happening here, Martin, is that all of these stations that are involved that had posted these results, which, by the way, have been taken down from what I understand, probably have a syndication that they work with for results, some kind of supplier who provides results. And what this was, which they should not have posted, was probably a test of the process. They put up what looks like results, feeds them, and makes sure that the system is working properly. That would be my guess, because in the media, what you see happening instantly on television sometimes has gone through a lot of processes and tests to make sure it all works. So I suspect, and I could be wrong, but I suspect that this was one of those test feeds that somehow, instead of allowing to be internal only, ended up posted for a period of time. But they look exactly like the feed would look for the television audience. In other words, the first one up was the statewide governor GOP primary. These were all GOP, by the way, all GOP primaries through all of the districts throughout the state. He sent me maybe, a dozen of them or something like that. But there was a screenshot that he took. And it lists the candidates for governor: Dixon, Kelly, Rinke, Ryband, and Soldano, and assigns vote counts and percentages to them. And I'm not going to go through those right now. But it's obvious that this is not the results, because the results haven't happened yet. And so consequently, my conclusion, Martin, is that this was a test of the system to make sure it works, and somehow it got posted instead of remaining internal. But I thank you much for sending it to me. I found it interesting. When I first looked at it, I said, what in the world is this? Then I began to think about it and realize, how the media works. It doesn't just happen at the wave of a hand. There's a lot of testing that goes on and things of that nature. So that's my answer to you, Martin. But thanks for the email. Appreciate it. All right, we'll take a break, come back. Again, it's open phones for the remainder of the hour. Give us a call.
Why can't Michigan students be the best educated in the world? Why can't the state that put the world on wheels have the best roads? Why can't Michigan be the manufacturing capital? I believe we can. My name is Tim Kelly, and as state representative, I cut through Lansing regulations every day. Now I'm running for state senate, and I'm primed to get our state back on track. Michigan has been held back by Lansing's red tape for far too long. Let's give Michigan a chance again. Paid for by Tim Kelly for state senate.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Sounds like when you have sleep apnea and struggle with CPAP. And this is what camping sounds like when you have Inspire and don't need a CPAP. If you have sleep apnea and struggle with CPAP, Inspire could work for you. Inspire works inside the body and keeps you breathing normally and sleeping peacefully. No mask, no hose, just sleep. To learn more, visit InspireSleep.com.
Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at InspireSleep.com.
I was 53, divorced, and ready to get back out there. I was unsure about dating sites, but I signed up for Silver Singles and quickly met Lily.
Mark and Lily rediscovered the Silver Singles, the secure dating site for 50-plus singles who know what they want.
Lily's a lover of the great outdoors like me, and we instantly connected over it.
If you're like Mark and want to rediscover that feeling, sign up today at silversingles.com/love. That's silversingles.com/love.
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right. And when they're wrong, it's your reputation on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681? Reputation Defender is one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too. Using cutting-edge approaches, Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results, where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401 for free advice on your situation. That's 800-401-6681.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
Hello, Michigan. I'm John Gonzalez.
And I'm Amy Sherman. We've got big news.
And you can join us Sundays at 1 p.m. as we once again go behind the menu.
We'll take you to every corner of the state, sharing the stories that make Michigan great.
Find a hidden gem or a new favorite spot that might be located right in your hometown.
We'll go above the bridge and taste our way across the state.
Join us Sundays at 1 p.m. right here on 100.5 and 790 News Radio.
Broadcasting from the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios. This is WSGW.
And we return on the Art Lewis Show for this Monday morning to the phone. Scott is in Saginaw. Good morning, Scott.
Hey, morning, Art. Hey, I hate to do this, but the last time you and I talked, you said I was losing credibility because I had said the Democratic Party was becoming a murderous group of people. And within hours of that comment, I believe her name is Kathy Hochul, the governor of New York, one of the Republicans running for governor. And within an hour of her releasing that email, a man showed up on Lee Zeldin's stage and tried to kill him. That's your Democratic Party.
No, that's that individual. You see, there you go again, Scott. Listen to me, please. In the same way, You don't want to be judged if someone with your beliefs goes out and commits a crime. Why should the Democratic Party be judged by somebody who goes out and commits a crime? The crime belongs to the person committing it, not to the Democratic Party. The party is not murderous. I know lots of Democrats, and none of them would be murderers.
That's not what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, it is what you're saying. It is what you're saying.
Art, a few short weeks ago, we had another sitting senator call out our U.S. justices by name. A murderer showed up at their house.
Right. Exactly. No, a murderer showed up at his house.
Yes.
A murderer.
A Democrat who was a murderer. A Democrat who was
a Democrat. A single Democrat.
Who was released by a sitting senator.
All right, look.
They are. That's who they are.
We're not.
Listen,
we're never going to listen, Scott. We're never going to agree on this. Not that the individuals you cite aren't murderers, and I do agree with that. But to drop that label on millions and millions of people is just not honest.
Well, Art, how many of these millions of people have come on the national TV or radio and denounced that are Democrats?
I don't know, but how many of them would go out? How many of them would go out and actually commit the crime?
It don't matter. It only takes
one. So one bad apple ruins the barrel. So there are no bad apples in the Republican Party?
I don't hear any No, I'm not saying that.
But wait a minute now. Wait a minute now. If a Republican were to go out and do that, would the whole party then become murderous?
Well, if Mitch McConnell.
Oh, no, come on now.
Go to such and such's house and let's go ahead and release the whirlwind.
Yeah,
and then a
right.
Republican went there and did it. You'd have it. But
listen.
But I do want to say this about your friend there, who I'm going to pronounce his name wrong, the firefighter. See, he's not a murderer. He's a hero to me. He does something that most people would not and cannot do. I'm not saying.
Talking about Errol, who's retired. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm not talking about the old school Democratic Party. I'm saying this new group of Democrats that are coming in, Art, no longer know how to sit down and talk about a situation. What they do is they release people and then they try to get this stuff done by fear. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying every Republican is a murderer.
Every Democrat,
that's not what I'm saying. But
yeah.
but the party is becoming. That's what I'm saying. They're becoming very violent, and they're allowing it.
Individuals, yes. As an organization, I don't think you'll find that in their charter. Nothing, and you won't find it. Listen again. I understand what you're saying, and I understand the implications of those individuals doing the acts. All I'm saying is, it is unfair to judge any large group of people, and here we're talking about, half the country. Because of the acts of a few. Those few are wrong. Don't get me wrong. Those few are absolutely wrong. But that doesn't mean Mr. and Mrs. America, who may be Democrats living in Oshkosh or anywhere they live, are of the same ilk or even approve of it. It's just unfair. It's unfair to them to categorize a group in the same way that it's unfair. The people you trust and you like, and I know this for a fact, as you just said so, you believe in first responders and what they do and how they do it for you. Well, should all police be judged by Coven, who put his knee on George Floyd and caused the man to pass away? No, of course not. Should all police be judged? Can all police be judged by that individual who improperly uses their badge for power? Of course not. Most police officers put their pants and skirts on every day, whatever they wear. They go to work. They protect you and me. They want to serve their communities, and they should not be judged by the action of a few.
I agree. But when you have leadership of that group saying to do something, then somebody does it, where does the responsibility lie?
On that leadership.
Exactly.
On that leadership.
This new Democratic Party, that governor of New York, sent out that man's email, and she got the response she wanted.
All right. Well, I don't know if she wanted it, but she got the response. No doubt about it. That's true.
Did. And
that's true.
Within 2 hours, that man was
All right.
Release. Come on. That's that's the new Democratic Party. That's
it's the
what I'm
new
saying.
leadership. You said leadership. That's important.
But if you're, listen, I used to go to a church, and I was involved in that church for about 20 years until they started to preach stuff that was outside of the Bible. I talked to the pastor about it. They would not acknowledge the word being the authority. I no longer go to that church.
Yeah,
Why?
well, you made
because
a decision.
They don't recognize it.
You made a decision.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. And if you are part of a group of people, whether it's the Republican or the Democrats, and they are saying, go out and chase Republicans down, knock on their doors, scare them, get in their face, put a fist in them. Hey, get out of that party and start voting in people that are for peace for you and me. I want to get along with my Democrat Party.
Good enough.
All right, Art.
Scott, always fun. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye now. Scott in Saginaw, and we will take a break, and then we will come back with more. It's the Art Lewis Show for this Monday morning on WSGW.
Tudor Dixon. Working in the steel industry, she saw the results of Governor Whitmer's policies. Businesses closed, jobs lost, families moving away. Biden's policies aren't helping either. Gas prices and inflation skyrocketing. Tudor Dixon will stand strong against policies that hurt Michigan and government overreach. A businesswoman, a mother, a breast cancer survivor. Fighting for Michigan, not working for Washington. Tudor Dixon for governor.
Paid for by Americans for Prosperity. Not authorized by any candidate. AmericansForProsperity.org.
Are you ready for retirement? Well, Jason and Carl Kreiderman with Great Lakes Investment Advisors have a new book that can help make retiring easier. In Empower Your Retirement, they talk about how a well thought out financial plan can make the difference between just surviving and thriving in retirement. Using everyday language, this book explores how a simple process can help you cover all the bases of your financial life, including how taxes can affect your retirement and much more. Your finances are too important to leave to chance. Empower Your to help you understand the must-dos to prepare for the retirement you desire. Get your free copy of Empower Your Retirement by calling 989-848-1188. That's 989-848-1188. And for more on retirement planning, tune into Jason and Carl's radio show, Your Financial Empower Hour, every Sunday morning at 8. Firm provides insurance services, investment advisory services offered by Great Lakes Investment Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor firm in the state of Michigan. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Tigers fans see history in the making when one of the franchise's all-time greats is honored at Comerica Park.
Sweet Lou Whitaker.
Be here Saturday, August 6th when the Tigers take on the Rays at 6:10 p.m. Come early for a special pregame ceremony as Lou Whitaker's number one is officially retired by the only franchise. Plus, the first 10,000 fans receive replica Lou Whitaker Road jerseys, courtesy of Bally Sports Detroit. Join the celebration for a true Motor City legend on Saturday, August 6th. Visit tigers.com/tickets.
This is a paid advertisement for legal services. Ricky LeBlanc, Chestnut Hill, Mass. Admitted in Massachusetts only. While this firm maintains joint responsibility, most cases of this type are referred to other attorneys for principal responsibility. Members, Paul J. Morgan, Winter Park, Florida. Nick Neiswander, Florence, Kentucky. Rich Grabo, 970 Farmington Avenue, West Hartford, Connecticut. 860-904-7789. Michael Bogonzales, admitted Louisiana. Filing number LA-22-13614. No legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other attorneys. I am a paid non-attorney spokesperson. Attention U.S. Marines. Veterans were exposed to toxic chemicals in the drinking water on Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987. Exposure to these chemicals increased the risk for cancer, birth defects, and other serious health problems. If you or a loved one were exposed to contaminated water on Camp Lejeune, you may be entitled to compensation. A new law gives legal rights to those harmed. It is not too late to take action. Call Sokolov Law now for at 1-800-397-8100, 1-800-397-8100, 1-800-397-8100.
Attention golfers, the WSGW Invitational is coming soon, presented by Westside Decorating Center and powered by Branham's Jewelry. To win your foursome entry into the WSGW Invitational, you must participate in the closest to the pin contest presented by Sarah Automotive of Saginaw. The next contest is Tuesday, July 26th at Crooked Creek Golf Course. And 9 a.m. Take 3 swings at the pin. At the end of the morning team show, the golfer closest to the pin wins the foursome. Plus, you'll have the chance to win the $10,000 hole-in-one contest presented by Buck Insurance.
Line drive into right. It's going to drop for a base hit. Rounding third and heading home is Baez. Miguel Cabrera with a line drive single, 13th on the all-time RBI list.
The Tigers play 6:50 tonight on 790 News Radio WSGW.
All right, I'm back with you on WSGW. Lines are open for the remainder of the hour. A few minutes left. As you know, the quote select committee on the January 6th Capitol attack has been on prime time. They've been all over the news. And I have said from the beginning that its whole purpose was to create enough doubt about President Trump so that he never is able to run for office again. And unless they can come up with, a criminal act prosecutable, legally, they can't stop him from running again, but they can create enough doubt. Well, I'm beginning to think it's taking hold. And here's why. Here's the headline. Fox News's Brett Baier outlines devastating impact of hearings for Trump. He looks horrific, not acting for 187 minutes on January 6th. And I really think that that is the end play that this committee wants. They want to start seeing chinks in the armor so that he can't run for office again. And I'm not saying he could win. I don't know if he could or not. But this whole thing is being used for political purposes as opposed to actually getting down to some kind of prosecutable truth. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Now the committee says they're going to come back in September because more and more people are coming forward all the time. Funny, though, not one of those people is a defender. Not one single word of defense has been offered, which to me seems a bit un-American, if you ask me. So, I don't know. Why, since most of the, all the evidence so far has been against, why do they not offer up some defense? Somebody typed to me, because they're all Republicans. Well, so what? Defense is defense. Anyway, Mark is in Mount Pleasant. We'll take him as our last caller. Mark, good morning to you.
Good morning, Art. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Hey, in November, December, I signed up for open enrollment, and I signed up for health care through my employer. But in June, I have auto insurance, a health care authorization to get a discount.
Right.
I missed that window of opportunity, and mine went up $30 on just one vehicle. I did the app. I renewed my contract through the app. However, I didn't submit the form that I've submitted through them for 8 years now. There is no rebate or anything like that. Even though you submit the form and you're a day past due, they don't compensate you for the same coverage that you had all year. I just don't understand health. I don't understand car insurance on why they can jack up your rate when nothing's changed besides a piece of paper that they need to verify.
Well, one thing's changed. One thing's changed.
What's that?
Your age, and that's part of the rate structure. So never discount the fact you're getting older, because they will charge you for it. Ask me. I'm 79.
No. Well, no,
it's separate from the personal protection part of it. When you're talking about a $30 rate increase, can you attribute that? Can you attribute that strictly to the personal protection part of it, the health part, and how?
Yeah, that's what they said on the phone. Yeah, they said once I submit that form to them, my rate goes back down. But I renewed over the app. But they said I also need to supply them with that.
You do have to supply a form.
Healthcare form.
You do have to form,
yeah.
And that form allows you to choose the type of healthcare insurance protection you want, personal health insurance. And if you are on Medicare, Medicare, of course, has become primary in auto accidents, so you can, if you choose, eliminate that part of your auto insurance, as long as you have Medicare A and B.
Well, all I'm saying is they increased my rates. Yeah, and nothing has changed. I supplied them the form, and they still won't give me my.
Did you miss the target?
overcharge
Did
on
you
that.
miss? Did you miss the target date?
Well, I signed up through my app because they have an app that you can go.
Yeah,
through.
but
They
did you
send me
do
the
it
document.
in a timely fashion? I'm asking, and I've got to go
Well,
because
to
I'm
be
on.
honest with you, I didn't submit the form in time. I guess.
Well, that's the deal. So 6 months from now, whenever you renew, make sure you do it ahead of time. I got to run because
Well,
I'm
it
out
should
of
just be
time
an
here.
open-
I'm out of time, but we will talk again. Thanks for being with us. Bye-bye, Mark.
Annette Glenn, working to restore voter trust. Annette Glenn voted to require a photo ID to vote. Take dead people off the rolls. Make it illegal to connect voting machines to the internet. Force the Secretary of State to obey state law. Paid for by Annette Glenn for State Senate.
Introducing a special first-time ever. Change your life in an instant ticket. $300 million diamond riches from the Michigan Lottery. A $50 instant game. 50 years in the making with over $300 million in total prizes. The richest ever. Top prizes of $6 million. The highest ever. And 50 chances to win on every ticket. The most ever. We're celebrating 50 years in an epic way. Play Diamond Riches from the Michigan Lottery. For fun. For schools. For 50 years. Knowing your limits is always the best bet.
Hi, I'm Tom Connors. Went to Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar February 6, 2019. Nothing worked before. Left there and never smoked again. Affordable and guaranteed. A year later, with my wife, Michelle, attended Mark Patrick's weight loss seminar. She lost 18 pounds and I lost 43 in 8 weeks.
It's true. He smoked 2 packs a day and nothing worked until Mark Patrick hypnosis. Now we're losing weight together, eating healthy, full on half the food, crazy, enjoying exercising. Who would have believed Mark Patrick hypnosis really works?
It's amazing. I can breathe again. My blood pressure went down and I've got so much energy.
So much energy.
And look great.
Join the Mark Patrick Weight Loss and Stop Smoking seminars for only $49.99, Sunday, August 7th at the Hampton Inn and Suites in Saginaw. To register and for more details, go to markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
At the United States Postal Service, we deliver packages fast and affordably so you can give your customers what they want when they need it. We're delivering for one-stop shops, mom and pops, pop-ups, startups, retail, large scale, small biz, big box, customers, customizers. So no matter what business you're in, we'll always be delivering for you. USPS, delivering for America. Learn more at usps.com/delivering.
All right, that'll do it for the Art Lewis Show for today. We thank you much for joining us. News coming up at the top of the hour. Then we'll be back to talk about Michigan festivals and events. All of that on Focus.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM, Carlton.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
I'm Steve Kafin. Thousands are out of their homes because of the latest fiery threat to a California national park.
The Oak Fire is already 3 times as big as the Washburn Fire, which burned near Yosemite earlier this month. Over 2,000 on the front lines, and CAL FIRE spokesperson Hector Vasquez says they have their hands full.
We have rugged steep terrain. We have the increased temperatures of 100 plus out in this area.
Meanwhile, Brooke Bingaman with the National Weather Service says smoke from the Oak Fire is expected to cause hazy skies as far away as the Bay Area.
Anytime that we get into our wildfire season in California, smoke is always going to be one of those risks.
Matt Bigler for CBS News, San Francisco.
Well, now to Indiana, where Republican state lawmakers are working on measures that would ban nearly all abortions in the state. Abortion rights supporters have turned out.
We're at a turning point in American history, and a lot of us could be losing our medical freedom very soon.
Pope Francis is north of the border in Canada, there to issue a formal apology. CBS's Chris Livesey
expected to apologize for the rampant neglect, physical, and sexual abuse Indigenous children face in Canada's residential Christian schools, most of them run by the Catholic Church. From the late 1800s to the 1990s, more than 150,000 Native children were taken from their families to attend these schools. The goal? To strip them of their culture and language in an effort to assimilate.
Well, no arrests have been made for the Sunday shooting in a crowded Los Angeles park that left 2 people dead, 5 wounded. wounded. Pete Demetreo of affiliate KNX says it all happened after some kind of disagreement.
When the bullets started flying, people scattered in all directions throughout Peck Park. Paramedics in body armor, along with police, began moving the wounded to an area where they're triaged and transported.
On the Health Watch today, CBS's Elise Preston says there's new information on children who get COVID and shake some of the symptoms.
About 6% of children treated for COVID in emergency rooms battle long COVID symptoms months after their diagnosis. That's according to a study published in JAMA. Researchers say children who were hospitalized with severe symptoms were at greater risk of developing long-term complications, including fatigue, cough, and difficulty breathing.
Indictments unsealed this morning in New York, and a former Indiana congressman, tech company executives, and an investment banker are among 9 people charged in 4 separate insider trading cases. Wall Street right now, the Dow is up 75 points, the S&P is up 1 point, and the NASDAQ is down 58. This is CBS News.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance, so you only pay for what you need. LibertyMutual.com to learn more.
Your career takes flight when you join the winning teams at Soaring Eagle and Saginaw Eagles Landing. The premier gaming and entertainment destinations in Michigan are currently hiring for a wide variety of positions for all levels of experience. Visit us online at SoaringEagleCasino.com for a full list of openings and learn about all the benefits and the new $15 an hour minimum wage. Apply today at Soaring Eagle Casino Resort and Saginaw Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply. While other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/trial. That's ZipRecruiter.com/trial.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
67 degrees at 11:05. Good morning. I'm Ian Williams. The Bay County Sheriff's Department is looking for suspects in larceny investigation and are asking for the public's help. Police say payment envelopes were taken from the Oakside manufactured home community in Williams Township. Police say the incident could be linked to thefts at several apartment complexes in Midland, where 2 men and the owner of what's described as a white Ford Crown Victoria are wanted for questioning. Anyone with information about either case can call the Bay County Sheriff's Department or the Midland Police Department. In Alpena County, a suspect has been taken into custody in a case involving a dead child. Authorities were called by My Michigan Hospital Friday after a dead 2-year-old girl was taken to the hospital. The child's home was located in Alcona County. And arrested. No names have been released. 3 people have been injured after the small plane they were in crashed in southeastern Michigan. The plane went down shortly after taking off about 3 p.m. Sunday from Ray Community Airport in Ray Township, north of Detroit. The Macomb County Sheriff's Office says it reached a height of about 75 feet before crashing. The victims suffered severe injuries and burns and were taken to a hospital. A dog that was aboard the plane has not been found. WSGW News Time is coming up on 11:07.
As golfers, we want more distance. Birdies, pars, and one putts. What if I told you that you can get all of that and more for less during your next golf getaway? Now with 90 holes of golf at one resort, Shanty Creek Resort is bigger and better. Discover a new golf mecca in Bel Air with all the more you need. Variety, quality, and quantity with customizable stay and play packages accommodating every group and budget. When you're ready for more, we'll be here to welcome you at Shanty Creek Resort in Bel Air and online at shantycreek.com.
It's been popping up in orchards and vineyards all over, in the origin theories colors.
Oh, hey, yeah, it's Sevia fungicide from BASF, a category leader in disease control.
How do you explain these healthy crops?
Well, longer-lasting residuals, regulatory standards, and prepared for what's to come, which improves crop marketing flexibility. So,
A fungicide that is out of this world? I knew it. Sevia fungicide from BASF. Or is it? Always read and follow lead directions.
WSGW News Time is 11:07. As summer travel hits its peak, gas prices across the state are down 19 cents from a week ago. Drivers are now paying an average of $4.44 per gallon for regular unleaded. This price is 65 cents less than this time last month. You'll find the most expensive prices in Ann Arbor, Marquette, and Traverse City. The better deals are in Benton Harbor, Grand Rapids, and Flint. A gallon, though drivers in the Detroit area are finding prices at or below that price. If the United Auto Workers Union cannot organize workers at new electric vehicle battery factories that will supply Detroit's three automakers, the union's future would be in serious doubt. Ray Curry, president of the 372,000-member UAW, says union representation at the battery plants is critical, given that the major automakers are staking their futures on the widespread adoption of electric vehicles. Quote, it's going to be a key to lock down that type of new technology, end quote, Curry said in an interview with the Associated Press before the union's convention. He said everybody is dependent upon what happens out of that bargaining. It's blueberry season in Michigan, but things are a little dry in northern Michigan. Ben Buchan owns Buchan's Blueberry Hill in Traverse City on Old Mission Peninsula.
I've been running irrigation, but my situation is a little bit different. I have naturally acidic peat, and so it's kind of a swamp, 20-acre swamp, and I'm growing blueberries in the corner of it. So I got 5 acres of blueberries, and it's pretty wet most of the time.
Buchan says when it's wet, the bushes are stunted, and when it's dry, they don't have the root system to sustain themselves. So he uses irrigation. It's like a good crop overall. They open today for You Pick blueberries. When you see news happening, call the WSGW newsroom 752-0790. Coming up on 11:10, I'm Ann Williams.
Here's your WSGW Weatherology forecast. We'll see mostly sunny skies here for today with a high into the upper 70s. Winds out of the northwest around 5 to 15 miles per hour, gusting as high as 20. And for tonight, partly cloudy sky conditions, a low around 56. Tuesday, sunshine, high around 82 degrees. Wednesday, a chance for showers and thunderstorms, cloudy sky, 84. Thursday, mostly sunny skies, high of 82. Then by Friday, plenty of blue skies and sunshine, a high around 80. Saturday, mostly sunny skies, a high of 84. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Vujicic with the WSGW Weatherology forecast. Currently, it's 68.
Now, it's time to focus as WSGW presents the people, the places, the businesses, the culture, the area events and activities, all put into focus on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online.com.
And good morning again. Welcome to our Monday edition of Focus here on WSGW, brought to you by RoofMax, the safe, proven, and affordable alternative to expensive asphalt shingle roof replacement. Find out about RoofMax online at getroofmax.com or call Ben at 989-859-6751. That's RoofMax, spelled with 2 X's. Today, we're going to learn about the Michigan Festival and Events Association. And with us to talk about it this morning is its president and CEO. We say good morning to Mike Shuckent. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Art. How are you today?
Hey, we're doing well. Thanks for joining us today. So I think before we get into some of the nitty-gritty post-pandemic, if you will, about fairs and events, tell us about the association and who you represent.
We represent all the festivals and events and the good number of the fairs in the state of Michigan, from tip of the western UP all the way down to Detroit and Benton Harbor and every point in between.
So, you know, we went through the pandemic. We're still in some ways going through the pandemic, but not to the degree it was. Things are getting a little more back to normal. Can you say that events and festivals and fairs and the like are back to pre-pandemic levels?
Nope, not quite. The 2021, we saw those festivals and events that were able to go forward, saw absolutely record attendance, record revenue. People had money to spend. People were happy to get out. Problem was that it was only about 33%, 35% of the festivals and events were able to go forward in 2021. 2022, we thought there'd be a little more of a decline on the attendance and the revenue, but that is not true. We're still having festivals that are breaking last year's records for attendance and revenue. People are coming out. They're enjoying the summer. We've had a great summer to work with. We will be back to 2019 numbers until next year. There's still a few people that are, for various reasons, have not had their events go forward this year. And hopefully that will be back to normal next year.
So you mentioned that 2021, you had about 33%. What do you have this year in terms of the numbers of festival and events?
We're closer to 80% right now.
Oh, so you have had a huge rebound then?
Oh yes, and as I said, everybody is still seeing records, and then people are just pent up and want to get out.
So I know you're sitting down, so I have to ask this question, Mike. How are these festival and events doing finding employees and volunteers?
Well, the carnivals are having a little bit of a challenge, but they seem to be running pretty stable. They've got they're getting the labor. As far as the employees go, the festivals that are depending on volunteers, it's a bit rough. Matter of fact, last weekend I was in Alpena for the beginning of the National Brown Trout Festival, and Peggy Demakowski, the chairperson of that, was quoted in the Alpena News that she didn't know whether or not they were going to be able to sustain the event moving forward because they couldn't get enough volunteers. The revenues were there, and they're doing as much as they can to support the nonprofits and the charities in the area, but they couldn't get enough volunteers, and therefore they didn't know if they were going to be able to continue. On Saturday, I met with her, and she said, people saw the article and they came out of the woodwork, and now she has another problem. She had more volunteers than she had positions, and anybody away, so she just doubled up on people. So I think we learned something, and it might not have been a good thing. We learned something during the pandemic that we just need to hunker down, and people need to be invited. If you invite somebody, you just put out an invitation and say, we need volunteers. Everybody says, well, I'll let somebody else do it.
Yeah.
But if you send out a message out there that we need volunteers or we're not going to be able to do this, people will step up. And that's what we're seeing. If you ask for the help, the people will step up.
I'm on a steering committee for the Dow Great Lakes Bay Invitational, the LPGA event in Midland. We just held it. Over 1,000 volunteers. So it told me that the event, what the event is sometimes, has a play in who comes out and volunteers.
Or what causes.
Yes.
Yes. If it's something that pulls at someone's heartstrings, and they feel that this is definitely worthwhile, and I want to give my time for this event to be able to benefit this organization, they'll come out for it.
Yeah.
And they'll volunteer and they'll support it.
All right, Mike, hang on. I got to take a break here. We'll come back. We're talking to Mike Schuckend. He is the president and CEO of Michigan Festivals and Events Association.
While you're comfortable inside your home or business, the weather takes a toll on your roof. Wind, rain, hail, UV rays, and the heat of the sun cause premature failure of your save money. If you have an aging roof, don't spend a lot of money on replacement. Get a RoofMax shingle treatment and get some peace of mind. Get more life for less money, guaranteed with RoofMax, a powerful fusion of science and nature. Call Ben today at 859-6751.
Flock to Dow Diamond Saturday for Princess and Pirate Night, where you too can be royalty.
A princess? Shut up.
Or a scallywag.
You are without doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of.
After the game, we'll light up the kingdom with a fireworks loontacular.
Hey, we saw fireworks.
Princess, are you okay? Powered by Farm Bureau Insurance. Tickets are selling fast.
My God, you ate the princess.
Get yours now at loons.com. Princess and Pirate Night, Saturday at Dow Diamond.
Bye-bye, boys.
Have fun storming the castle.
Dive in. It's Loons baseball time.
This is Rachel from the SBRC Marketplace, located at 203 South Washington. Sizzling summer is here. Come support the sizzling small businesses inside. Freshly baked cookies from Craven Cookies, homemade hummus from Falafel Hut, freshly smoked meats from Brigo Burger and Barbecue, and a taste of the Windy City from Divine Taste of Chicago. Create a one-of-a-kind jewelry piece from Purple Sage Bead Store, Fresh Flower Boutique from Flowers by Romans, Rocks and Gems from House of Serene, and grab a beverage and delicious food from the Boardroom with the only outdoor patio right on Riverfront. Come support the sizzling small businesses Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Events are happening. Christmas in July on July 30th with story time and Christmas cookies with Santa. Take it to the streets Sunday, July 31st. Pull up, pick up, shop small. Get ready for rides on Riverfront as we team up with Exclusive Car Club on August 28th. We thank you for the continued support of our small businesses. Remember to
go support small business, and we'll see you at the market.
This is what camping sounds like when you have sleep apnea and struggle with CPAP. And this is what camping sounds like when you have Inspire and don't need a CPAP. If you have sleep apnea and struggle with CPAP, Inspire could work for you. Inspire works inside the body and keeps you breathing normally and sleeping peacefully. No mask, no hose, just sleep. To learn more, visit inspiresleep.com.
Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
This is the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios of WSGW.
All right, we're back with you talking to Mike Schuckend. He is the president and CEO of Michigan Festivals and Events Association. A couple of things, Mike. Let's talk, first of all, about economic impact to the state of Michigan. What do these festivals, fairs, and events mean to the state?
The economic impact that festivals, fairs, and events has on our state's economy is currently at about $1.9 billion.
Wow.
When we get back to where we were in 2019, taking into consideration everything, our gentleman, the entity that did our economic impact study, it was Northwood University, was very respected as far as forecasting the economics. And when we get back to normal, it will equate to closer to $3 billion, just shy of that. So is a major factor in our state's economy. It's a major factor in our tourism industry because most of the hotel stays and things like that in our festival regions, people are coming for the festival and staying at those hotels. They're eating at those restaurants. They're buying memorabilia in the gift shops. It's basically other people's money coming into your community. And for the smaller towns, the small towns that have, maybe a 1-block main street, it's that festival that comes to town that brings in those visitors from out of the area that get them through their slow times. That money. So it's huge. It's a lifeblood of a community. And if you want to, right there in our backyard there in mid-Michigan, Frankenmuth, here's a community that has a festival almost every other weekend.
Yeah.
It's 7 miles away from the nearest expressway exit. It's a community that the entire school district is just over 10,000 people, and yet it's #1 tourist destination in the state of Michigan with over 3 million visitors a year.
Yeah.
How do they do it? They do it with festivals and events.
Yeah.
And that's what attracts the people there that runs the cash registers at Zender's and at the Bavarian Inn and at Bronner's and everything else that goes on.
They have,
it's huge.
They have something else going for them too. They're master marketers. They know how to market their community, and they do it very well.
They do.
Yeah. So let's talk about August. What's coming up for festivals and events in the state?
Well, first of all, I want to tell you, my wife and I, December 23rd of 2020, which was a great time to buy a travel trailer. We bought a travel trailer in Birch Run at the General RV, and we've been using that to go to the festivals and events. And I'll just give you a brief description of what what this week is. This week for me is the Mount Morenci County Fair, the Labadee Rib Fest, Bay City.
Coming back.
Yes. And the Grand Haven Coast Guard Festival in Grand Haven. And next week we will be in Rogers City for the Nautical Days, heading over to Elk Rapids for Harbor Days. The Timberfest is in Lewiston, Michigan, and the 906 Festival is in Curtis, Michigan. And that's just, there's something going on all over the place. And
Mike,
I think I died and went to heaven. I've got the perfect job.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks I'm retired and on permanent vacation.
So now I have to ask this question.
blast.
Does your wife have the perfect husband? Does she like events and fairs as much as you do?
Well, I'll tell you, as of this year, my wife is a retired school teacher, so we're living the dream right now.
I guess. Fabulous.
It's
Well,
a
listen.
blast. And with 1,300 festivals and events in the state of Michigan, there is always somewhere to go and something to do in this great state.
You're going to be a full-timer in that trailer. You keep it up. Let's talk about where people can get more information.
MichiganFun.com. Everything that you need to know about festivals and events is MichiganFun.com. And you asked what's coming up in August. August is County Fair month.
Yep.
They have more county fairs in the month of August than any other month of the year. So
Yeah, I'll be at
if
one
you're
next week.
interested
I'll be in Saginaw's.
There you go.
Looking forward
over there
to it.
in Chesney.
Yep. Listen, Mike, always fun. Let's do this again down the road. Talk a little more.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. And remember, .com.
All right. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Mike Suchan, he is the president and CEO of Michigan Festivals and Events Association. We thank him for joining us on WSGW. Back to close out and find out what's happening in the markets with Baird & Company.
Tudor Dixon. Working in the steel industry, she saw the results of Governor Whitmer's policies. Businesses closed, jobs lost, families moving away. Biden's policies aren't helping either. Gas prices and inflation skyrocketing. Tudor Dixon will stand strong against policies that hurt Michigan and government overreach. A businesswoman, a mother, a breast cancer survivor. Fighting for Michigan, not working for Washington. Tudor Dixon for governor.
Paid for by Americans for Prosperity. Not authorized by any candidate.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right. And when they're wrong, it's your reputation on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with your search results? Call Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681. Reputation Defender is one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too using cutting. Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. That's 800-401-6681.
WSGW Radio, along with Star of the West Milling, Michigan Sugar, and American Crystal Sugar Beets, presents the annual Michigan Fruit Pie Competition at the Saginaw County Fair Tuesday, August 2nd. Qualify for your chance to win one of 3 cash prizes. You must enter your favorite homemade baked fruit pie recipe to T. Henny at WSGW.com. All pie recipes must be submitted by midnight, July 28, 2022. If your recipe is selected, you'll be notified by phone or email, so please include your phone number and email address and your name and address. Pies must be homemade from scratch using the submitted entrant recipe that includes Michigan-grown fruit. Entrant must submit 2 pies, 1 for judging, 1 for display. Pies will be judged on taste, freshness, and appearance. Taste judging takes place at noon, August 2nd, 2022. All pies must be at the designated location at the Saginaw County Fairgrounds no later than 11 a.m. for preliminary judging. All this information is available online at WSGW.com. Scroll down the homepage and click on the Best Michigan Fruit Pie box. And that'll do it for Focus, brought to you by RoofMax. GetRoofMax.com with 2 X's. Time to head over to Baird & Company and find out what's happening in the markets, and that's where we find Steve Anderson. Steve, good morning.
And good morning to you, Art.
How are we beginning this Monday?
We are beginning this Monday on a mixed note. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is ahead by 85 points, putting it at 31,985. Volume is 247 million shares. The NASDAQ is down 54 at 11,780 and 87 million shares. And just round things up a little bit, the S&P is ahead by almost 6 points at 39.67. I just did that so I could have 2 of them going up.
That's good. And your ticker tip for the day.
Well, in today's world, investments can be made in many, many ways, and some places are recommending that people handle all aspects of their investments themselves to cut out the middleman. That can be a way of reducing the cost of investing, and for some people, it does work. But there is also a lot of other tasks that you can accomplish in life less expensively by doing it self, such as working on your car, plumbing, electrical work around the house, drafting a will or trust. And I guess in theory, if you watch enough YouTubes, you could probably pull your own from your child's appendectomy. But most people choose not to do so, and why? They don't have the knowledge. In some cases, they don't have the time. And the same can be true when you're handling your investments and financial planning. Make sure that you can realistically evaluate. That was easy for me to say. Your knowledge level.
Yeah.
and realize that there really is no shame in utilizing the education and skills a financial professional provides, because often what you spend on fees or commissions for their knowledge can be more than recouped
And you
in the
are,
helping hand they give.
and you are one of those. How do we get a hold of you?
I are one of those. You can call us right here at Baird & Company in Saginaw, where the telephone number is 989-790-57. Got a stall there. Our Midland location is 989-839-9035, and you can find us on the web at RW Baird. That's BAIRD.com.
Right.
And look for the Saginaw branch or the Midland branch or whichever individual you're looking for.
All right, Steve, have a great day, and we'll talk to you Wednesday.
Oh, no, you won't.
Oh, I won't. Okay.
No.
We're going to talk to somebody?
No, I'm afraid not. I should have told you that earlier.
Oh.
Yes, we are all away at another gizmo.
Okay, so we won't look for you Wednesday.
Sorry.
That's all right.
You can look, but you shall not find.
We'll talk to you Friday then. You're going to be back?
Absolutely, yes. I'll be back with bells on.
All right, we'll talk to you then. Take care.
Sounds great. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Steve Anderson at Baird & Company with our ticket tip of the day. The Farm Show is next with Farm Director Terry Henney.
Roads lead to the 67th annual Munger Potato Festival, July 28th through the 31st. Enjoy carnival rides, food tent, games, famous potato bratwurst, and of course, plenty of free potatoes.